I don't have my order of service, so if I'm out of order, too bad. So I'm really out of order because I have Thanksgiving humor. You've celebrated with your families, and I had a couple of riddles and rhymes here. How does Thanksgiving always end? With a G. Yay. When does Christmas come before Thanksgiving? In the dictionary. Why did the cranberries turn red? They saw the turkey dressing. Why was the turkey arrested? He was suspected of foul play. Here's one for the kids. Why do the pilgrims' pants always fall down? Because they wear their belt buckle on their hats. Why did the pumpkin pie go to the dentist? Because he needed a filling. Now, this one you have to pay attention to. How many pastry chefs does it take to make a pie? 3.14. Pi is 3.14. Are you with? All right, last one. My friends told me to stop telling Thanksgiving jokes, but I couldn't quit cold turkey. There you are. There you are. So our message this morning is faith in unrestricted supply. Since faith is the theme for Advent, I'm continuing in our prosperity series, but I'm weaving the idea of faith, hope, love, and joy, the prosperity of faith, hope, love, and joy into our series between now and Christmas. And so I want to use the story of the coin in the fish's mouth. And I thought I had it here with me, the scripture here with me, but evidently I forgot to bring it down from my desk. So I'll tell you the story from memory. I wish I had that, but anyway, the tax collector comes to Jesus and his disciples and said, "You need to pay the tax." And they said, Peter and the disciples said, "We don't have any money." And Jesus tells Peter, "Go out to the sea, cast your hook, take the first fish that comes, open its mouth, and in there you'll find a coin, and take that and pay the taxes for you and for me." So it's this idea that, well, we'll talk about the spiritual interpretation of that. I'm going to use, as I said, Catherine Ponder's book, The Millionaires from Nazareth, in that she teaches us that Jesus was a great healer and that he was excellent at prayer, but we often forget that he was also very good, taught and understood the laws of prosperity. And in this Advent series, as I said, we'll share the 4 lessons to help us develop our own prosperity proficiencies so that between now and the new year, we'll be ready to have a prosperous, wonderful new year. Today, we're going to do faith in unrestricted supply. And next week, we'll look at how the prodigal son got out of the country of lack and back into a consciousness of abundance. In the third week, we're going to look at the spiritual law of adaptability, how Jesus turned the water to wine when there was a need. Don't panic, don't freak out, that we can take care of whatever this need is that shows up in our lives. And last, at Christmas, we're going to do joy in the prosperity of your prayers. And we'll look at the prosperity prayer the prosperity in the Lord's Prayer that Jesus gave to us. And we'll look at that on Christmas as the Holy Father and all of the teachings that he gave us. Now, when we think about prosperity, we can think about abundance, but money, when you think about money, it is a necessary requirement for our daily supply, is it not? And it shouldn't be held in disdain or fear or doubt or worry, because the attitude we hold toward our money is energetically very important to creating unrestricted flow. If you have this cramped, tense, fearful experience of money, or when you deal with your money or you pay your bills, that's not allowing a flow of spirit in you, in and through you, and in and through your life. There's a prosperity formula for Advent this first week of faith, and it's found in the verses of Matthew chapter 17, verses 24 and 27, and it gives us a formula for tapping into unrestricted supply. The story has a touch of magic in it that can appear to magically, when you practice these steps, it can appear to magically touch your financial life, but let's be clear. Let's be clear, prosperity is not magical thinking. It's the application, it's opening your consciousness to abundance and living and stepping into that fully, without fear, with faith and favor and fortune and belief and trust. And it's living in that, and that's what these steps we're going to talk about today are here to help you develop. To develop a consciousness of prosperity, which when you work in your life, it can feel magical. Things can happen, appear from out of nothing into something. And it's the very real result of the application of spiritual law. It's not magic. It's you working in consciousness, developing your faith and developing your belief in provision and supply for your life. So much is going on in the story of the coin in the fish's mouth. I could make a whole 4-week series out of it, just taking each one of the steps. But we're gonna go over them today. We're gonna look at the prosperous attitudes of building faith, the faith to tap unrestricted supply. How does that happen? And I want to focus on the spiritual interpretation of that formula, which it says here for Matthew. Jesus very clearly gave some very distinct steps. He said, go to the sea, cast a hook, take the first fish that comes, open its mouth, find the coin, take it and give it to pay the taxes for you and for me. So in our first step, we see go to the sea and be willing to use the prospering power of non-resistance. How many of you you don't have to raise your hand, but how many of you ever come to a point in your life where you got a big unexpected bill, $1,300 to replace the transmission in your car, or you fell behind in your mortgage payments or credit card payments and that kept stacking up, and you're looking at that, the size of that, and you have fear, doubt, and worry around it, or you can't see, there's just no way you can see how that could ever be resolved. We're going to use the prospering power. The first step is the prospering power of non-resistance. You have to let down your fear, doubt, and worry, which is not an easy thing. That's why it's a spiritual practice, to let down that fear, doubt, and worry about how this will happen, how this will work out. When a financial need arises, instead of grumbling or talking lack or fear or doubt or worry, say yes to fulfilling it, and the battle is half won, because you crack open a little space of the light of spirit to get into your condition, to get into the situation. Many people miss their good because they spend both time and energy negatively criticizing, worrying, and condemning about the situation, the financial situation or condition that they might be in. As I said, if you've ever had an unexpected big bill come up, it can throw you off center, can't it? I remember one time I had a big car repair, and then I opened up my dishwasher and the bottom was full of water, so I needed to replace my dishwasher. That was coming up, and then I can't remember, there was like 3 or 4 things that all stacked up that was getting into the thousands of dollars. And for the first time in my life, I went, wow. I usually have a savings and a reserve, but I don't like to spend it on that kind of stuff, and I was a little bit concerned. So you have to make peace with whatever's happening. Know that you're being guided by spirit. The second step is deliberately get into an uplifted, unrestricted state of mind. You're never going to find prosperity, as I said, in that depressed, discouraged, cramped, critical, fearful, doubtful place. There's absolutely no prospering power in a low, negative, whiny kind of consciousness. That's not anything that creates abundance. If you want unrestricted flow in your life, you have to open to it. So you say, well, how do you do that, Cherie? How do you get open to it? And that is a spiritual discipline and a practice of prayer. It's inspirational reading. If you're afraid that you can't make that car repair to get that transmission and you need your car to go to work, sit down and read something inspirational and deliberately get into an uplifted state of mind. I like to read the Psalms because they're always so hopeful, I fear nothing. And David would look out at the landscape and comment on the majesty and the creativity of spirit. Lift that up to know that you are not this little tiny speck in the great cosmos of anything. You are created by the very Spirit of God in the image and likeness of God, and you're empowered by that, and you live in that. You live and move and have your being in that. And so there's nothing to be afraid of. You get into an unrestricted supply by practicing prayer, inspirational reading. Service is a good way. Do something for somebody else because that quickens and opens your heart. And you can study to what I call principalize your life to a greater consciousness of abundance. Practice opening to a greater consciousness of abundance. I learned this step from my former husband, my deceased husband, because he always, when I was around him, you've heard me tell, he always used $20 bills for everything. Just, if he paid for things, he always had a bunch of 20s on him. So if he needed leave a tip, it was $20. If you do this, it was $20, 20, 20, 20. And I always had ones and fives, right? I lived in a $1 consciousness. I had $1 bills. I'll do $2 for a tip or $3 for a tip. It's three $1 bills. So I watched him swim in $20 bills. And I remember when my yoga teacher, she was a single mom with 3 kids, and she started teaching group lessons in a place, and she charged $20 or $15 for the lesson. And I thought, here's my opportunity. I always left 20. I would go in the basket, and there were 10s and 5s and all of that stuff, and I always threw a 20 in there. I thought, I'm going to practice just get in the unrestricted flow of $20 bills, right? Because what you put out into the universe, you're creating a vibration of that. And then I shared with you, I'd made an investment with someone and they hadn't been paying me back. And one day he sent his office manager over and she came in with this manila envelope and paid me back $6,000 all in 20s. All in 20s. And I thought, well, that's working. Now I have a lot of 20s, So again, it's a cultivation of consciousness. Do you live in a $1 consciousness? Do you live in a $5, $10, 20? So then I thought, well, I'm going to change to 50s, right? But 50s aren't as plentiful as 20s, and hundreds are even more plentiful than 50s, but I couldn't make the leap. I have not yet made the leap to just deal in hundreds, right? I'm still at the $20 level because that's my consciousness. It's a $20 level. So it was open up in non-resistance, get into an uplifted state of mind. And the third step, he says, go to the sea. What does that mean? He's telling Peter, who represents faith, to go to the sea. He asked him to take, and that's to take one step in faith, is to acknowledge that in faith you'll be led to something better. The sea is the universal sea of abundance. It's the realm of all possibility. It's the realm of God. It's the realm of God. And Jesus, the Christ Spirit, is saying, go to the sea. Step into the flow, unrestricted flow of God's abundance. Take one step in faith and know that you'll be led. Go to the sea of rich ideas. It's not that God has cars and $20 bills and houses and transmissions for your car stored up in the substance in the mind of God. God speaks to us with ideas, rich ideas. So if you go in prayer into that and open yourself to that realm of the universal sea of abundance, that realm of divine mind, and you there are still and you listen, an idea will drop in, or a nudge, or a hunch, or an intuition, or an inclination. You'll feel it. And then you can get up from your prayer time and follow that lead. Go to the sea of rich ideas. Jesus asked Peter, faith, to go to the sea and acknowledge that it will lead you to something better. Sea symbolizes the universal mind, the great sea of abundance, the realm of ideas. And the first thing you must have to solve your situation is the right idea about it. The first idea is there's no fear or loss or lack or condemnation or doubt or worry here. You put that aside, and then you open up. You ask, what's the divine idea that will bring healing, prosperity, or abundance in this situation? And if you don't know the answer, then in quiet reflection, sitting in the silence, you let God reveal your answer. Does it come every single time? Or does it come as quickly as you want it to? Not always. But if you're in this practice of opening and listening for, hey God, what's happening here? And then you get still and you listen, over time you'll cultivate that response. You'll learn how God speaks in you and through you. You'll learn, for me, there's just a feeling that kind of comes in through the back of my neck, and a hearing, and not a voice, but just an intuitive knowing. But whatever it is in your prayer time, if you practice, you'll learn how God speaks in you. So when you have a concern, when you get still, you listen for that idea, that presentation of that voice or that answer. God will give you any good thing you desire, but in the form of an idea. Spirit speaks to God, speaks to us in ideas. If you take the idea that comes to you as a result of your meditation or your affirmation or your inspirational reading or study, you're reading something inspiring and you go, oh, yeah, and that idea comes to you and you use it for all it's worth, there's no limit to the good you can derive from that. So use non-resistance, get into an uplifted state of mind, and from that, receive an idea. Then cast a hook. Cast a hook. Fish, in spirit metaphysics, symbolize rich ideas. There's a school of fish, right? Which means there's just, when you get a visualization of fish swimming in a school, there's hundreds of them, sometimes thousands of them. And so they represent divine ideas, and you can cast a hook into that, cast a thought into that, and pull out one of those divine ideas. They symbolize prosperous ideas. Napoleon Hill researched the secrets of the 500 most successful people, and he concluded, this was surprising, listen, if you're one of those people who believes that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought. It's not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, never result from hard work. They are the result of ideas. Ideas are the beginning of all fortunes. And you've heard it said, there's nothing so powerful as what? An idea whose time has come. So when you have this need or this desire to enrich your life, it's sitting in that realm of all possibility, sitting and lifting your mind into the kingdom and allowing those ideas to come to you. Then you have to follow through on the ideas that are revealed to you in order to reap the results. You go to that place, I have little tiny notes here I'm trying to read. Go to the place of universal mind and open to ideas and allow ideas to come. Don't think, oh, this doesn't happen to me. I don't know how to meditate. I can't be still long enough. Forget all of that. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Ideas are the beginning of all fortunes. An idea for an iPhone, right? An idea for a computer. An idea for sausage. I don't know, an idea for things that you're thinking of. We work and we earn by right of consciousness. We teach that in Unity. You are constantly developing, growing, and expanding your consciousness. And when an idea drops in, it's yours by right of consciousness. No one can take that idea from you. We all have the same amount of hours and days in the week. Some of us are wealthier than others. Do they work harder, smarter, more hours, or in an industry that pays more? Or do they work in a consciousness that earns more? And it's not earning by the sweat of the brow, it's earning by right of consciousness, so that it looks like somebody makes millions and they're doing nothing. But what they're doing is one of the most important things you can do, is just opening and allowing the flow of God's good to move in and through them and in and through their lives, right? You think about actors in entertainment and how much they're paid for their movies. You think about professional sports people and how much they're paid. You think about the oil-rich countries. Think about real estate magnates, bestsellers of books, inherited wealth. You think about the people at Google and Apple, Facebook. You think about Oprah. Do they have any more hours in a day than you and me? What is it that they have ideas that they've acted upon, and with non-resistance? They've opened to those ideas. They've followed the ideas that were in their heart or in their mind and acted upon them. Catherine Ponder asks, is there anything more sourcing their wealth than an idea? A very good idea. You don't put money and hours to work. You put ideas to work. So when you're inspired to do something, I think I'll make a meal and take it over to the neighbor. We talked of last week or the week before, I wrote some note cards, thank you cards to friends that resulted in very huge generosity coming my way. The next step is you cast a hook, which includes faith gets definite about what's wanted. You have to get definite in your faith about what you want. To cast a hook is to get specific in your prayers, your affirmations, and your feelings. I want this. I want this. I'm in the sea of universal ideas, and I'm going to rest in an openness and allow an idea to come, but I'm going to cast a hook and direct for a very specific idea of fulfillment for this debt or prosperity for this condition for me. Then you get, let's see, what does it say here? To cast a hook is to get specific in your prayers, your affirmations, your feelings, your meditations, your list making, your visualization. Then get specific in your outer actions as well. When that idea drops in, you've cast a hook for something, an idea comes to you, you have to follow the idea that comes. When conditions appear to have reached a deadlock, when you seem up against a stone wall with no way out, you want to pray for infinite intelligence to guide you. And when I wrote that this week, I thought about AI, artificial intelligence. And for the first time ever, I've been having trouble with my computer, and my tech's been trying to fix my email, and we got to talking about ChatGPT. How many of you have tried ChatGPT? Not many. Well, if you go to Google and you type in ChatGPT, you can ask it anything. It's artificial intelligence. So he was telling me he and his girlfriend were making some recipe, and there was some ingredient in it that he was allergic to. So they type into ChatGPT, give me a recipe for this without tomatoes or whatever, and there it is. And then you can say, give me the exact measurements for this. There it is. Give me the sequence that these ingredients are put into this dish. There it is. It prints out for you. It's amazing. You can ask it, you can just ask it a lot of ministers are using ChatGPT for their sermons. You can say, here's my sermon, inject some humor into this, and it will edit your sermon and put humor in it. It's amazing. So that's artificial intelligence. But more than that is the infinite intelligence of the Christ mind, which you don't have to go to Google to find. You just have to get still and open yourself to the infinite intelligence of spirit. You have your own Chat GPT, but it's probably Chat God is the GPT. I don't know what that'll stand for, but you have your own ability to connect with God's infinite intelligence, the infinite intelligence of spirit. When things seem to be going wrong, when conditions appear to have reached a deadlock, when you seem up against a stone with no way out, you can open yourself to the infinite intelligence of spirit. You have your own AI, but it's I, infinite intelligence. If you can get a sufficient realization of God as infinite mind, you will be successful in anything you undertake. Increased prosperity in your life is an expanding process. In every area of your life, you're growing better as your understanding of prosperous thinking expands. And belief. I never believed this could happen for me. I've never really had any money. My parents didn't have any. We lived without. My grandparents came through the Depression. Stop with all of that. You carve out your life by what you think about your life. You're thinking, I live with favor and fortune follows me wherever I go. My standard phrase is, money falls on me from out of the sky. And I have that prosperity. It follows me everywhere. Ideas are the center of your consciousness. Everything in your consciousness creates your body, your health, your wisdom, your finances. Everything about you is derived from an idea with which you give your attention to. If you give your attention to health in your body is what you're grooming and developing to produce. If you give your attention to your finances expanding, then that's what your energetic field is working in and working toward. You are an idea in the mind of God. An idea is the most important thing that you can have, and it has to be given first place in your attention. So, ideas are truly the beginning of all fortunes. You have to follow through on the ones that are revealed to you so that you reap the results. Now, raise your hand if you've ever said, I had an idea for something prosperous, but I haven't done anything about it, or I never followed through on it. I want to write the book, or I have this creation for whatever. There was a woman who had created a really great salad dressing and in the restaurant, and she and her husband worked on it. People asked for it all the time. And they said, you've got to market this, you've got to create this, you've got to, and she just never felt like she knew how to do that. So she never followed through on that idea. People all over wanted that salad dressing, but she just didn't follow through on it and never made any prosperity from it. She did what I have here. She never did anything definite about it. She needed to go to the sea of ideas and cast a hook, asking divine intelligence to show her how to develop the dressing for marketing, right? The fifth step is to take the first fish. I can be guilty of this because when I open my mind to ideas, like 100 ideas drop in. But Jesus said, cast a hook, take the first fish that comes. The first idea that floats by, you tend to say, oh, that won't work, or that's too expensive. I can't do that. I don't know where to start with that. So you throw that fish back, right? And then you wait for another fish to come along. Take the first fish. Often we take the first fish that comes up out of the sea ideas, but we don't take time to open its mouth and let it unfold its secrets to us. You get an idea and we think, oh, I can't do that. And you push it off. If Peter had taken the first fish and rushed off, he wouldn't have taken time to open the mouth and find the coin, right? So Jesus is saying, give the idea a chance to unfold its secrets to you. It needs time to grow in your consciousness. You get this idea to, maybe I don't know, my car, I don't want to affirm car repairs for myself, but maybe there's a car repair in your life, a need for a car repair, and you get an idea to call a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. And maybe it turns out that they've just got their mechanic's license and they've just started working and they'll help you with your car. You don't know what'll happen. But if you don't follow the idea and let it develop itself in you, you miss what it's offering. So it's take the first fish that comes, give it time to grow strong, and let it reveal its full plan to you. Does your end result look like the first idea that came to you? In Nashville, when I lived there, some songwriters the whole song would drop in all at once, the new song they were writing. The whole song would drop in. Or they'd go to bed and have a dream and wake up in the dream, the whole song was with them. They kept a notepad by the side of their bed because they couldn't write it down fast enough when the whole thing dropped in complete. You get an idea for the book and all the chapters just drop in and you can outline everything and write it quickly. You have to be open to the idea and ponder it, but keep quiet about it. The words secret and sacred have the same root. That which is sacred is secret. You want to keep it to yourself. Turn it over mentally in your mind and spiritually in your heart. Let that idea work in you in the stillness, in the quiet. Keep mental company with your idea. Let it tell you its secrets. Don't try to force the fish's mouth open. Allow it to gradually open and unfold and reveal your idea to you. It's only when its mouth is wide open and it's finally shared its secret that you discover the coin, the result, within the fulfillment of your needs. So you get still, get out of non-resistance, get into an uplifted state of mind, allow the ideas to come, mentally turn those over in your mind, keep them secret in your heart, work with them in your mind, and then you take the first idea that comes along and you work with it, and eventually it reveals gives you the how-to, the plan, the sequence, the steps of what needs to happen. If it seems that someone's taken your good, you've had an idea for the book, you said it out loud, you go to Barnes & Noble, there's your idea for your book. It's because, not by you, but by someone else. Universal ideas float in the universe, and anybody that can capture them and bring them down can develop them. That idea for that book was in universal mind. If you didn't act on it, somebody else will. But they can't steal your idea. If you have an idea for a book or something, and you're cultivating it, and you mention it, and this person tries to take it and write the book, it's not their idea. It's not in them. They haven't cultivated it and developed it. No, your good is yours by right of consciousness, right? You earn by right of consciousness. You create and develop by what you hold in mind, in your connection with divine mind. If it seems that someone takes your good, or you've lost your good through not keeping quiet about an idea, your good will be divinely restored. Nothing can be taken from you that's yours by right of consciousness. What does it say here? Your good is yours by right of consciousness. You can never lose that which is yours by right of consciousness. This or even greater good will come. I was trying to think of an example when that happened, but it'll come back to me. A businessman purchased a service station, Catherine says in her book, and opened a used car lot. He did well at first, and then his business dwindled. In a quiet time, the thought came to him to grow his business. That the growth comes before the harvest. And he'd been so busy in outer ways, lining up the looks of the dealership and putting flags on the antennas of the cars and all that stuff, that he hadn't taken time to get still and listen to grow inwardly. So he realized that he has to grow inwardly to outgrow his financial problems, to outgrow the slowness in his business. So instead of criticizing, why aren't things happening, this isn't happening fast enough, he began to trust God, and he stopped urging God to greater speed. I have a need and I have it now, God. I need it now, right? He began to bless his income, bless his business, and his income and his outflow, and his business began to turn back toward profitable means. Allowing a period of growth gives substance to your life that cannot be crowded into an instant. When that idea drops in, and you turn it over in your mind, and you work with it mentally, and you work with it in your heart spiritually, that's not a fast process, because you're drawing on the substance of God, the creativity of spirit, and it will come in and form and shape. Infinite intelligence will form and shape and guide your answer. But the longer you work with it, the more the substance of God gloms onto it like shavings to a magnet, and so you have to allow that process, that cultivation of time, it can't be crowded into an instant. It's a cultivation. It does get faster as you grow your faith and your belief. If you learn to rely on spirit, you can lift up to an idea and it's there, and it seems to happen instantly. But it's because you're that strength of consciousness has magnetized you to spirit. Catherine says, regard the slow times in your life as a period of growth, but never doubt that the harvest will come. Last step, sixth step, Jesus told Peter to open the fish's mouth, and there he would find the money to pay the tax. So it was this is our process. We withdraw to a quiet place, and we dwell on the idea that comes to us, to activate it, to empower it, to ignite it. And then we ask, what's the truth of this idea? How can I cultivate this? Keep mental company with it. Let it be revealed. Let it reveal itself. It may only reveal the next step, but you have to be willing to follow the guidance that's received. Like I said, if you need a new transmission, you think to call a friend. He goes, I just got my mechanic's license and I'm now working at this place, but I can come over after work and work on your car. You don't know what joyous, happy outcomes Spirit has in store for you when you're in the flow of the universe. We usually stop at the first idea that comes, the first fish, because most often we think, I can't make any money doing that, right? Write the book. I can't make any money doing that. Write the song, sing the song, perform over here. I can't make any money doing that. But a rich and loving Father will begin to pour into your life an abundance of prospering ideas that will lead to satisfying results that are just right for you, custom tailored for you, because they're created out of you, out of your relationship to the Christ Spirit within you. What I love at the end of the story is only a single fish was caught, only one fish, and it contained the precise amount to pay the taxes. Over the years, the idea of prosperity will grow in you. And as you trust it and work with it and have faith in it, it will reveal its magnificence to you. You'll develop that $20 consciousness or whatever it is. Again and again, the single shekel, the single idea will meet your needs and beyond your needs as you practice this. I put in the end here, I have continued to work with and develop my understanding, my trust, and my faith in spirit. A much deeper understanding of practice of faith in the principles will evolve your results and build your faith in unrestricted supply. It's just there for you, the universe, it's just there for you. The creativity of the universe, the joy of the universe, the support of the universe is there for you. So what do we have? Is that the last slide up there? I'm not sure. Use the prospering power of non-resistance. Get into an unrestricted state of mind. Go to the sea of rich ideas. Cast a hook. Take the first fish that comes. Open its mouth and let it reveal the way. Let it reveal the plan to you. Let it reveal the steps to you. Let it give you the assurance that you need, that you're stepping out in faith to create the prosperity for your life. So that's our flow of unrestricted supply this morning. Let's take it into a time of prayer and meditation and seal the experience. So just imagine the disciples with Jesus, and there comes this Roman soldier demanding payment of the taxes, and they're thinking, we don't have anything. How's this going to work? And Jesus says, Peter, faith, let's go into the sea of the unlimited realm, the realm of all potentiality. Cast a hook. Your answer will be there. Take the answer that comes and follow it. Work with it, and you will be blessed. In our prayer time this morning, we know that God is the source and substance of our supply. That there is a realm of all possibility. There is the realm of the Creator God. Everything was made from divine mind. You were made from divine mind. Your life is an expression of this mind of God. And in moments like this, when we take time to be silent, to open up, to sit in reflection of the grace of God, the love of God, the power of God, the wisdom of God. Just let yourself be open to infinite intelligence. And we use Chat God, not Chat GPT for artificial intelligence, but we use Chat God for infinite intelligence. And that's a deeply intimate spiritual conversation that goes on between you and your Creator. Philippians 4:19 says, the Spirit of God knows your needs and is even now fulfilling them according to the riches and glory of Christ Jesus. Right now, that thing you're concerned about is fulfilled. That need is met. That medical treatment is perfect. Your health is restored. There's harmony in your relationships. It's all right there, right now. I am open and receptive to the flow of Spirit in my life. That's a good word for us. I am open and receptive to the flow of Spirit in my life. Think about your concerns. set them aside and declare, I am open and receptive to the flow of Spirit in my life. Let's affirm it. I am open and receptive to the flow of Spirit in my life. In all of my life, together, in all of my life. My health, my wealth, my well-being, my family, my loved ones, my possessions, my finances, all of it. All of it rests in God. And I open my mind in this prayer time to understand that more fully, to let my faith awaken to that more profoundly. I let myself be open and receptive to the unrestricted flow of Spirit. And in the silence now, think about your own life, and just for a few moments of quiet, be open and receptive to an idea in the mind of God dropping into your mind. The source, the substance, the answer for your concern or blessing. Source to enrich your life and bless your life. I am open and receptive. Again, I am open and receptive. And softly, I am open and receptive. And then silently inside yourself. And in our prayer time, we draw in all of those for whom we're praying, the names in our prayer chest, all who have asked for prayer from this ministry. Each one of you here, our ministry, Unity of Auburn, our youth ed department, our children. We see them open and receptive to God's spirit of love, prosperity, and grace. We see harmony in all our relationships. And for others, we want to affirm you are open and receptive to Spirit's flow in your life. And we know mystically they can feel our words, they can feel our feelings, they can feel our prayers. You are open and receptive to God's Spirit flowing in and through every part of your life right now. And they're blessed by it, they're enriched by it. And as we move toward the Christmas season, the Advent, the awakening of the light and faith that we affirm today, we make a commitment to live with more faith, to live in belief, to live in hope, to live in trust. I am open and receptive to the flow of Spirit in my life. Again, I am open and receptive to the flow of Spirit in my life. And we know and trust that this flow is goodness and life and health and peace and joy, all good things. And we know it now in the name and the nature of the living Christ Spirit. And together we all say, Amen.